Hey guys, if I'm wrong on this, somebody correct me because I'd have to talk about some stuff that is like before even like my time, if you can believe such a time existed. Um, One of my recent comments, the guy asked me my thoughts on push-outs, rollouts in pool. When I first started playing nine ball, I don't think there were any. I don't think there were any push-out rules when I first started playing. Uh, it was a very long time ago. In the olden days, again before my time, you could roll out anytime you felt like it. And anytime you felt like rolling out, then your opponent would get a choice to make you shoot or they shoot. I don't believe back then that there was such a thing as ball in hand in nine ball. Again, somebody's going to have to correct me. I didn't feel like Googling it all. So I'm playing nine ball and I suck and I can't see the one. Or I broke and this is what I got. In the olden days, my understanding is that, it didn't matter. I can't see the one. So we roll out. And whatever I might want to do, come to like here. Then my opponent comes up. And he either says, hey, you got to shoot this. It's too, I can't see that far. Or it's a tough shot or whatever. Or they shoot it themselves. And then if they screw up and miss, but get a lucky leave, then the first guy can roll out again, is my understanding. Or this guy could decide he doesn't like this rollout, this option. And again, somebody's going to have to correct me because I could very well be wrong. What I think the deal was, so the first guy has this. He doesn't like it, so he rolls out to here. Maybe he's trying to roll out for a jump shot or something. I'll talk about that in a bit. He rolls out to here. The opponent comes up and says, I don't like it, but I'm just going to roll out again. I think in the olden days, they could just do that. He could just roll out again. And then the first guy comes back up. He says, well, clearly I can't make this shot, so I'll do something else. I think back then, I first started playing nine ball probably 85 or so. So this would be before that. I think you could just be rolling out forever until somebody either felt like shooting an offensive shot or playing a safety. I think. I don't know that for a fact. So those rules eventually did go away, and when I started playing, I don't think that rollout was an option when I first started playing, like I said, mid-80s. Could be wrong. I think if I broke and I left myself like this on the break, sorry for my luck. I need to try to kick it and hit it, or my opponent's going to get ball in hand. I think that's the way it was. I mean, I was young and we were all fearless and all that, and maybe we would have tried to kick at it anyway, no matter what. I just don't remember. What I do kind of remember, though, is after several years like that, then rolling out after the break became like the standard rule. So I could break dry. Is that dry? Yeah. I could break dry, my opponent could say, well, that's stupid, and he could roll out to maybe a jump shot. Or I could have broke and made a ball, and then I get to do the rollout. And that's the way they play it nowadays. Is there's one rollout and it's after the break. Either the guy that broke and made something gets to roll out if he wants to, or if the guy broke dry, then the opponent gets to roll out if he wants to. And then after that, they get one choice. The opponent can either pass it back or shoot it. Okay. Now we get up to the point where I gotta watch myself. I don't want to get off on too much of a rant about whiny crybabies. Because I actually think I want to do another video about whiny crybabies. But to me, the push out after the break is just about the ultimate whiny crybaby rule. Even though they used to play push out any time back in the olden days, is my understanding, I was never involved in that. I never played that way. The only way I ever played was either no push out, I believe, or you could push it after the break. Anyway, gosh, yeah. So if I break and I leave myself like this, sorry for my luck. That's what I think. But enough people said, "Oh man, that's no fair. You know, I spread them out good. I didn't get a lead. So therefore, I'm gonna roll out." The powers that be said, "Yeah, okay, you're right. That's no fair. That you got some bad luck on your break." Or the breaker didn't make anything. And the incoming player comes and says, "That's no fair, that's no fair. Wah, wah, that's no fair. I want a chance to roll out too." Okay, fine. The powers that be that make the rules and all that said, "Okay, fine. You can roll out as well." And so I believe you could roll out any time, and then you could never roll out. And then the whiny crybabies in the 90s came along and said, "No fair, no fair." It's just, my opinion, but I'm allowed to have one. My understanding of what you're supposed to do on a rollout, I do not watch a lot of rotation pool. I used to play 9-ball fairly often, but again, back when I was playing it, no, we didn't do that stuff. That was whiny crybaby stuff, and I don't think it was even in the rules back when I was doing it. Might have been. We didn't do it. We would kick at that one, or in some cases we might try to tie something else up. So even though our opponent's getting ready to get ball in hand, maybe they have a tougher time running out. That's what I believe you're supposed to do back then. But now it's rollout time. So what you're supposed to do, in my understanding, my very limited understanding, is I'm supposed to roll out to a place where I think I can make a shot, but I don't think my opponent can make a shot. That's one option. If I'm Federer or Shane, maybe I can roll out to like here, because I know I'm one of the best jump shot shooters on the planet. And if they're playing me, they know that I'm not even close. So maybe they roll out to here. They roll out for a jump shot, roll out for something they're good at, and they don't think their opponent is very good at. They think their opponent's going to pass the shot back to them, or their opponent's going to try it and screw something up. If they're playing me, if I'm playing Federer, that's much more likely than me playing Shane, because Federer's local to Louisville here. If I'm playing Federer and Federer pushes out to here, then what I'm going to do, and as I'm going to, assuming that the place allows it, because I have talked about jump cues, and a lot of times they're not allowed anymore. But if the place allows it, the game allows it, whatever, I'm going to get this, and because I'm me, I'm going to try this shot and screw it up. That's what's going to happen 90% of the time. Is I'm going to try this shot, and I'm probably going to at least get a hit, but not make the shot. And that's what my opponent is counting on. I'm going to try it and screw it up and sell out. That's what's probably going to happen. Some people wouldn't even try it. They just say, "Fine, you want to shoot the jump shot, go for it." Push out to back here, your opponent's going to go, "Okay, shoot it." So you have to, if you're going to push out to a shot, you need to have pretty high confidence that you're going to be able to make the shot. Or maybe you could push out to a safety. That's another option. Push out to a safety that maybe your opponent's like, "Well, he's a dumbass. He's probably going to try the jump shot." So they give it back to you, thinking he's going to try the jump, thinking you're going to try the jump shot. But no, you saw some safety that they didn't see, and you can shoot that instead. I don't have an example for that, but I think you can probably imagine it. Um, so that, that's another option. You can push out. You can push out to a safety that your opponent is either not going to try or they're going to try it and screw it up. So that's what your second option. And the third one would be, maybe you see something that they don't, or maybe you hope you see something and you hope they don't see it. And they're like, well, this is an impossible shot. Let's say I push out to here because I'm ridiculous. To everyone on Earth probably, there's not really anything here you're going to get this back. But what if I was like really, really, really super good? I'm not, but what if I was? Bear with me. And I could kick 2 rails into the one, drive the one up here, and leave the cue ball right here. What if I was the king of that shot? Then yeah, I saw something my opponent didn't see, and I pushed out to it, and they passed it back. So there's an awful lot of strategy in when to push out, what to push out to, when to do it. Depends on who I'm playing. If I'm playing push out rules, which again I used to do it a little bit after the break in 9-ball. I would never push out to a jump shot because I've never been very good at jump shots. But I would push out to things like a long shot off the rail. I'd push out to like here. And think, usually in this case, I would think my opponent is probably going to try to make that one and miss it. Or they're just going to flat out give it back to me. Or they're going to try some safety that may or may not work. Almost never would I think, well, they're going to shoot that and make it and run out. If I thought that was the case, I wouldn't have put the ball here. You'll push out to here or something. Something that I think I can do and they can't. And again, that is absolutely an option. And for me, that was always the most common option back when I was playing 9-ball all the time with the push out rule. It was push out to something that I can make and I don't think they can. And usually I would push out something that I thought they would try, but they would be mistaken. They would screw it up. I didn't like pushing out the stuff where I thought they're just going to give it back to me, because then all the pressure's on me, and I don't like that. I want the pressure to be on my opponent to do this kind of stuff. So I would try to push out to something that they're going to try it, they're probably going to miss it, and I might be in a better position after they miss than I was right here after the break. I think that probably makes sense. There's absolutely no way to cover every situation and scenario of where you could push out to. If you watch the videos, the pay-per-views, and somebody gets this and they push back to here, one of the commentators will go, well, that's the stupidest thing I ever saw. That guy's too good at jump shots. And the other commentators are going to say, that's the greatest push I ever saw, because he's going to try something and miss it. Maybe the guy pushes to here, just to a tough cut. One guy's going to say, yo, that's awesome. The other guy's going to say, no, he's an idiot. This is just going to happen. People have different skills and abilities and opinions, and not only do you have to know your own game, you have to know what is your opponent capable of doing, what is your opponent likely to try, likely to succeed at, likely to fail at. You have to know all those things about yourself, and you have to know them all about your opponent if you're going to push out. And obviously, unless you play with your opponent every day of your life or whatever, you're guessing a little bit on them. I don't think they can make this kind of a shot. I certainly hope they can't make this kind of a shot. I don't think they'll go for this. You're kind of guessing a little bit, but in theory, it's an educated guess. You know a little bit about the person you're playing. If you don't know anything about the person you're playing, let me think for a second here. Back in the day when I was playing, if I didn't know anything about the person I was playing, I wouldn't know what I said. I would push back to here, thinking I want them to shoot the shot. but I want them to miss it. I want it to be tough enough that they're going to miss it. So I would push that to, if I didn't know anything at all about them, then I would push that to here. Now, if I'd watched their 3 previous matches, and every time they got something like this, they fired it in and ran out, no, I wouldn't have done that anymore. Maybe I'd go, well, like my example, maybe I'd go over here, give them a back cut. The one won't go past the 7, so give them a back cut, give them some kind of a safety. But this would be my standard response to hooking myself on the break. I think any strategy, I think I've probably covered the push out strategy, because there is no one rule for any situation, because you're going to be different, and your opponent's going to be different. Of course, the general layout of the balls are going to be different. If the one was over here and I hooked myself, I'm not going to push to here, because it's too easy to get a safety. It's too easy to go off the one and come back up table. Now, maybe even with an extra kiss. It's too easy to get the cue ball back up here. That's what I'm getting at. It was enough of a cut. Too easy to do that. So, you know, I push out and the guy does this to me. I don't like him very much anymore, if I liked him to begin with. But the general strategy is, let me see if I can go through these again here. So, if you broke and you hooked yourself, so I'm going to push out. So push out to something that you think you can make, and either your opponent is not going to shoot it, or they're going to try it and screw it up. Shoot out to a safety that you think you can make, and your opponent is either not going to shoot it or is going to screw it up. Push out to something that you don't even think they see, but you see, and you want them to give it back in this case. And then you can do your secret shot that only you could see. You can do that. I think those are the basic strategies of push out. There's probably a million more. I don't play those games. I don't even watch a lot of those games to know it. And a lot of times I see people push out to like their strengths. Like I see Federer push out to leave a jump shot. I see Shane push out to leave a jump shot. And then, you know, if they were playing me, their opponent would just do something, kick it or give it back. They give it back if they're playing me. But if they're playing Federer or Shane, they're never going to give a jump shot back, because I don't know if I've ever seen either one of those two guys miss a jump shot. They're too damn good at it. So if I'm playing Shane and he pushes out to a jump shot, I got to try that damn jump shot, or maybe there's going to be a kick or something else I could try. You got to know yourself. You got to know your opponent, and on a push out, I think probably knowing your opponent is even more important. Are they going to do something stupid and sell out the game potentially? Are they just going to be, you know, you're really cautious and just hand it right back to you? Or are they really good and they're going to do something good? They're going to make the shot you just pushed out for. Are they going to see some safety maybe you didn't even see and do something awesome and make you wish you'd kicked or something instead of done a push out? It's not a psychological game, but it is knowing your opponent and knowing yourself and what the hell are you supposed to do in that situation. People back, you know, in the olden days, I have to imagine we're a heck of a lot better at that kind of thing, reading their opponent and what's their opponent going to do, when you could push out any time. In my understanding of the old rules, that's what it was. You could push at any time. So they got more used to that. Nowadays, you push out after the break, and I see the same things over and over. Pushing out to a jump, pushing out to some kind of a safety that might be a 2-rail kick safety or something, you know, semi-tough, but not really for those guys. I see the same things over and over, and well, it's one of the reasons I don't like watching rotation pool. One of the reasons I don't like watching rotation pool is I get tired of seeing the same things over and over and over and over. I can't think of anything else to say. My thoughts on push-outs, it's not a lot because I don't have a lot of experience with them. I know what they're supposed to do. I know what you're trying to do, or one of several things you're trying to do. I know a little bit of the history of them. I just don't play them very much at all, and hardly ever watch them either. So there are a billion people out there playing 9-ball and 10-ball that could tell anybody watching this video a hell of a lot more about push-out strategies than me. Bye, guys.